Responsibility of young adults to save the world. The purpose. The purpose of my research was to further expand the life of the world. As y'all may know, the world is being hurt at alarming rates, from carbon emissions to waste to pollution. Um, the world is facing a very big problem. We're not providing enough help to save the world, and we're harming it at alarming rates. The faster we act, the better, and this is why I conducted my research on this topic. We need to act fast as future leaders of the world because um, I am a young adult, and young adults and late teenagers will be the future leaders of the world. And if they are educated on this subject, they can make a change and provide more help to the world. The methods. I did both primary and secondary research. I conducted a survey that analyzed people's lifestyle in their homes and to see what their views on trophy hunting were. Um, the primary research didn't go as planned. Not as many people did the survey, as I sent it to over 100 people, yet I only received 20 responses, around 20 responses. And for the secondary research, I read multiple articles and viewed many videos to further expand my understanding of the subject and to understand the studies that have already been done. The results of the secondary research. The results are that if recycling was accessible, sorry, that people would recycle. It's as easy as having a trash bin and a recycling bin, two differentiated bins that you could separate your recyclable material from your waste. Um, that's one thing that I found from my secondary research. Um, I also found that trophy hunting provides incentives to communities across Africa to raise and protect endangered animals. Trophy hunting is a very sensitive topic because it involves the killing of animals. Yes, it might be devastating to picture, but in a way, it actually helps many of the animals. Um, the way it works is that someone who has a lot of money goes and pays large amounts of money to kill, let's say, for example, a lion or a tiger, which are endangered. They pay large amounts of money for that, and only a small percentage is towards the owner the of the ranch. The rest of the money goes towards food preservation to nearby tribes, because there's a really big problem around the world with poachers. A poacher is a person that goes into a ranch illegally and kills the endangered animals for their skin, their tusks, the horns, etc. And they kill them illegally, and that's what is driving their population down a lot. Um, with the money that they would be receiving from one kill, they could be saving up to 5, 10, maybe even 15 animals. Um, because the money that is being put into the animal is being spread out across the communities, the tribes, the people, and it gives them incentives to protect the animals for future hunters, because that's their main source of income. Um, the last thing that I found is that whether people have an agreement to recycle or not, that people would still like to recycle. It's really common knowledge that recycling is a important thing for our world. and very few people actually do it. Yet, if we all had the coming back to the first thing, accessibility, if we all had that accessibility to recycle, then we most people would do it. Now, the results of my primary research, which is the survey. This question: do you believe trophy hunting is worse for the endangered animals? The 73.7% said yes. Um, Very few people said no, and I'm pretty sure the people that said no were probably my friends, which have gone trophy hunting before. Um, Most people understand that there's life-threatening problems across the world, especially with life and then biodiversity endangerment, the waste, pollution, etc. Yet, not many people understand how we could fix these problems, or maybe even keep it at a certain level, which is sustainability. Um, Most people don't understand either how trophy hunting could lead to better biodiversity. Um, First, the second question that I have here from my survey, which is very impacting, is that people would start to recycle if it was more accessible, as a curbside trash can pickup. Curbside trash can pickup is basically the trash cans, trash bins that you have outside the uh, trash truck, the big trucks come up and they take your trash somewhere else, and they leave your trash bin there for next week. And if we had that, but for recycling, a 94.1% said that they would. Um, Most people would like to recycle if it were accessible to them, and this plays a big role because if we make it accessible, then everyone would, no, well, maybe not everyone, but most people would start putting in their small part, baby steps towards conserving and recycling, and we can prevent so much damage that could be done to the world. Now, with this in mind, the new problem: young adults and young generations must educate young children and future generations on how to reduce our ecological footprint and teach them about trophy hunting and how it can actually benefit the endangered animals. But how? The quickest solution would be make these issues well known and providing data to back it up. Um, Another way would be teaching kids and future generations to be better, to better the world and to reach ecological sustainability. From a young age, from personal experience, I've always been taught to recycle. Yet I've never had that accessibility, neither in back in Mexico when I lived in Mexico or here. There are many places across America and the world that don't have the same accessibility that some other cities across America have, especially to recycle. Um, these issues could be fixed by teaching the children and making it well known across my generation, which is Gen Z, and like young adults, late teenagers. We are the future of the world. We will be the future leaders of the world. We need to understand these problems and the solutions, and we need to pass our knowledge down to children. Now, this is an artifact. I made a virtual flyer to be passed around around Facebook, Instagram, and social media in general. It's a picture of me. Come watch Antonio Soberon speak of the responsibilities of young adults that they have of saving the world. Uh, this would be my first ever TED Talk, and it will be live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Um, by doing this and passing this virtual flyer around, through social media will capture the eye of many young adults and late teenagers. They perceive things virtually. Back in the day, um, my parents would get their news from newspapers. They would be there would be a newspaper man that would go around houses delivering the newspaper every day to uh, be kept up with the news. But nowadays, everything is through the phone and through the tablet, through social media. And this is the quickest way to make publicity. And I believe many people would watch this since it since it's very eye-catchy. Now, the purpose and solution. The purpose of the TED Talk is not only to inform young adults and teenagers, but to provide them with data to back it up. That's very important because kids nowadays have a very close mind. Um, in order to for them to understand you and for them to change their ideology of things, you have to give them certain studies from certain schools or a lot of research and just so that they can believe what you're saying. Um, so I believe that using this TED Talk and using the research that I have found will motivate a lot of kids to try to better the world and maybe in the future make recycling more accessible and keep trophy hunting legal. Um, and that is the solution. The purpose is to inform more young adults and late teenagers, and the solution is that the teenagers will grow up, teach their kids, they will be leading the world, and they will better the world by making recycling accessible and finding ways to cut down the footprint that we leave behind.